You guys ever been in like in elementary school or middle school or something, and then they bring in a movie that's supposed to be, from the period, or depicting the period, and then nobody kind of proofreads that movie, like nobody vets that movie, and it ends up being like some crazy like traumatic experience. I remember I was in, I think it was 6th or 7th grade, and then they were like, hey, we're going to be watching we're talking about the World War II atrocities and all that, and they're like, we're going to watch Saving Private Ryan.
Oh,
And it's like at the end, when it started getting real, and like this dude gets a knife through his chest, but really slowly, like that. Oh my God. I looked at that and I'm like, holy crap. like I'm freaking out. And people getting blown up. Like, all right, well, that's cool. Like that was it was crazy to me, because in your mind you kind of imagine what these things look like, but then like if you see it, you put yourself in that situation, and you're like, as a kid, it just gave me nightmares. Absolutely.
How old were you when they showed Saving Private Ryan?
Oh, I mean, God, when did that movie come out? So this would have been after the movie came out on VHS. So this would have been
90s?
like
was it 90, like
late 90s?
99?
Yeah, something like that. So maybe early to the. I mean, maybe I could have been, I don't know, 12 or 13 or something.
Yeah.
But it was pretty jarring. And I mean, like I also was fairly desensitized, from the early internet, where all the gore stuff, but it's just that, just like it's in my mind, just seared in there, and it hit me in a way that I didn't anticipate, and it just like, that was crazy.
That was a great scene, the one you're talking about. And then like almost the best part of that scene is like the Nazi guys like walking down after killing him, and he doesn't even like, he's like, the effort it would take me physically, the calories I would burn killing you, the guy on the stairs, would be taking away from the war effort. Goodbye. just leaves. It's like, oh, you're not going to shoot me in the back. There's guns everywhere. There's bombs. Like, no, you're a bitch. See you later.
No, that's the, like, just,
and also
emasculate him. Yeah.
Earlier, that was the guy who wanted to spare him back at the radio station.
Yeah, and he he learned.
Yeah, he learned there at the end.
He made a horrible mistake.
He's like, hi, it's me again.
I remember feeling like I got away with something when they would put on movies in school that were like really violent. I remember they put on The Patriot in like 7th grade or so, maybe 6th grade, and like we had to get something. It must have been 6th grade, because we had to get something signed by our parents, like, you're allowed to watch this, and it like said on there like don't worry, this is a educational version. All of the red blood is black now. Like, how they did, how like in Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rings, the orcs and the Uruk-hai, they bleed black instead of red, because apparently you can get like less of a hammer on you from violent ratings. I don't know. But like watching Mel Gibson chase down that red coat in the river, and by the end it looked like he was one of those like he had been like hogging in like one of those mud competitions, because he was just covered in black and brown, and it's like that's he didn't splash that much, like that's that red coat's blood all over.
So how did that work? Like, do they just take did they just manually get the red out? Like, how would they do that back in the 90s?
I have no idea. I just know that any blood splurts, anything, they were either removed or they were like brown or black blood.
What's really shocking,
I didn't learn anything about the Revolutionary War from that. I didn't learn a goddamn thing. I learned that like it was a tragedy that Heath Ledger died, and like it was and that those stupid redcoats were easily fooled by posts with like dummies and cloths attached to them, like oh, we have 10 of your officers. Like it was a great movie. It is a good movie, but I didn't learn anything.
What I was going to point out is the fact that you watched it for like educational, historical purposes is absurd, because
no, it's not.
That's how it went down. Action movie. It's a Mel Gibson movie. They even throw in
it is a good movie.
Girl for him, like out of nowhere. How kind of they have that weird like.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we won that war because of the Tomahawk stuff.
Because of Mel Gibson.
Yeah. Mel Gibson,
the historian. Yeah.
And don't you like that they sort of like ham-handed in the slave who's like getting his freedom, and everybody's cool with the slave? They make sure that we know that Mel Gibson is not racist.
I guess I didn't pick up on that.
It's important because it's slave owner times, right? He has, but they even like make sure you know that. Oh, these dark skinned fellows with Mel, they're free people. These are not his slaves. They're his friends, as a matter of fact. Just so we're clear before we go further.
And they do like the Legolas Gimli thing. Remember, like the kind of racist redhead guy and the ex-slave, like they kind of had a little bit of banter. And then they do like the Irish guy, and then at the end he's like, "I'm proud to die next to you. I consider you a brother," or like really ham-handed exposition.
It's my honor, and it's just like, oh really? You stopped thinking of a race of people as property over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, and first of all, if you're going into a battle with someone, you do not want the person next to you already like, I'm so happy to die next to you today. Like, no, you gotta be amped up. You gotta be ready to win. You need to have attitude. You need to have a little bit of panache.
I still had hope.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck, dude? Go home then. Go home. You're ruining the attitude of everyone.
That's like a 9/11 hijacker. It's like we're gonna all die today. That's fine.
You say that, but when Theoden was standing there on the Pelennor Fields, he did not say, "We're gonna get out of here today. We'll head home tonight and have some sandwiches." It was, it was death.
Yeah,
wait,
but they were chanting death to their foes.
Oh
Is
no,
that
I
300,
did not
the
take
other
that.
documentary? Did we
That's
mix
not
them
what I
up?
took from it. Do you really think that it's like a threat of death? Like,
I think that they meant it in the film to be like they're chanting because they're going to bring death, and obviously every warrior culture forever has always screamed when they run into battle. But like, I think you're supposed to take from it from the Hobbit's kind of Mary's kind of forlorn face, like, oh, death, that applies to us too. I'm 3'9" and I'm probably not in a good spot here.
I always read it as that's death down there. Let's go get some death. Like they're whatever it like they don't care. They're ready to die. Like today ends in death was what the chant seemed to me. Like
I can see that too. Definitely.
If I ever go to war, I hope I'm one of the main characters.
Me too.
Yeah. But not like Theoden main. Like,
and not
like Jon Snow
main.
Jon Snow main character. That's what you want to be.
I want to be hot female main character.
Ooh.
Depends on what series.
Not a horror movie. Not a horror movie.
No, they always make it. You can be the Jamie Lee Curtis.
No, hot chicks die in horror movies all the time, especially if they're a little slutty and it's early.
I think Jamie Lee Curtis is like an exception. She slipped through the cracks.
She's the main girl trope. She's the final girl trope. So like that exists in all of them. The girl always makes it. The one who's not slutty. You've got the jock, the stoner. The slutty girl.
The horny jock and the unlikable woman.
Yeah.
And they're always fucking.
Dies. The douchey guys die. The nice nerdy guy is the last to either die or live. And the final girl makes it because she is the final girl.
Yeah.
All those movies.
It is so predictable, but it's a good archetype.
That's why Scream was so fucking cool. I was showing Scream to someone the other day. I was like, first of all, keep in mind Drew Barrymore is a huge fucking star because the year is like 2001, and like that this trope has been established for 30 years. And the first thing they do is gut Drew Barrymore and like hang her from a tree by her neck. And you're like, oh shit, what am I watching? They gutted Drew Barrymore 5 minutes into the movie, and not in a pretty way. Like they gut Drew Barrymore 5 minutes into the movie, and so the rest of it is pretty fucking good. I hadn't seen it in forever, but it's good, dude. one of the most underrated movies ever, Waterworld. Let's go. Like that was fucking cool, right? Remember Kevin Costner's fucking
what age did you watch it?
It was
it's fucking bad. I watched it last week.
Dude, there's a line in that movie that I quote and nobody gets. He has this woman and her child on the boat, and I forget why she's angry, but she decides to kill Kevin Costner, Kevin, his character, and she gives it a go. It's futile. She's worthless. And he's like, killing ain't easy. And I ain't no place to start. And I was just like, oh, you're so fucking badass. So I have it 80% right.
No, that was probably like around the time he sold the child for pedophilia for paper. I think it was around that time. I think she was bummed about that.
Yeah.
That
dude,
that's right.
that
She might have been
was...
trying to save the kid's life or
Or
future.
asshole.
Yeah.
I remember watching that movie when I was a kid, and I remember seeing like a bunch of really bad reviews about that movie, and I didn't understand why people thought it was a bad movie at all. Like I was like, this thing is awesome.
I remember that it wasn't that they said the movie was bad in my exposure. It was that they said the movie was wildly over budget, that it was delayed. Apparently, filming on the water is super hard to do. And
no shit.
Right. So, and it's all union based. And if they don't have lunch on time, then it costs $1 gazillion. So if they have to work overtime, Kyle.
So if you've seen the movie, there's this atoll that sort of the opening scene takes place in, or opening 20 minutes or so. It's where like the people are living. They built that in the ocean. There was nowhere to piss or shit. So every time you had to take a bathroom break, they had to drive you back to the fucking mainland. Now, of course, we're hoping that people are just pissing and shitting off the side.
I'm from the ocean. There is everywhere to piss and shit.
But I feel like there's probably like some sort of like environmental guy there, like making sure Kevin Costner doesn't shit over the side of the boat or anything.
Yeah.
In any case, like it kept falling apart. It was the movie ended up being profitable, but at the time, I want to say it was the most expensive movie ever made, at like $150 million or something like that. Mm-hmm. It really is a fun little action flick, and it's worth watching. Dennis Hopper does a great job. He the line my dad always quotes is somebody's complaining to Dennis Hopper, even though Dennis Hopper just got one of his eyes fucking blown out of his head, and he goes, "A single tear rolls down my cheek." Don't fucking complain to me, asshole. Look at this.
There's a yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You can go. Why don't you go?
Oh, so there's a really interesting sort of documentary. I think it might be on YouTube about how horrible the production of that movie was, like how everybody basically hated their lives. Like that atoll that they had everybody at, there was a storm that rolled in and basically broke everything, so they had to rebuild it from scratch, and it put things back like weeks or months or some kind of ridiculous time frame. People were being, it was a really, really hard production, and they were surprised that it even made it. So they didn't really care what happened afterwards. They were like, okay, the movie's made. I don't care what reviews it gets.
Is that another one of those that Kevin Costner directed? Because I think he directed The Postman. Have you ever seen The Postman?
I've heard about it, but I haven't heard it.
Another movie that I feel is underappreciated.
It's underappreciated as well. It's slow though. It's a lot slower than than Waterworld, which is more actiony. The Postman is post-apocalyptic. Who knows what happened, but the United States has fallen in these sort of like split up little communities. A little bit of electricity, but that's if you live next to a hydroelectric dam and you've rigged up a way or something like that. But we've been set back. And Kevin Costner is like this roaming guy who like stumbles upon an old postal truck. He takes the postman's uniform because it's good clothes, even though it's on like a skeleton. And he grabs the mail sack and he walks into town and he comes up with this scam. He says, the United States has been reformed. There's a new president. His name it gives some ridiculous name. It's like Benji Gooberson or something. I can't remember. The President Gooberson has sent me firsthand. And he's running this scam. So basically they're giving him a place to stay, they're feeding him, and they're giving him mail to send on to the next town. So he's like, fuck yeah, give it to me. I'll carry it. And everybody, bitches are trying to fuck him. Like, it's great. He's loving this. But people start kind of buying into the whole idea that the United States is back, and there's a local warlord who doesn't care for that sort of thing. And it's a little bit like Fallout, right? Like he's got a whole goddamn army, and they're kind of opposed against one another. And Kevin Costner's made up scam of a new United States gets a following behind it and actually starts snowballing.
And he gets a sense of responsibility. I'm looking for a better word, morality, perhaps, where, he is the good guy and he is the government and he would like this world to be better, if I recall. Yeah. And it's pretty good. But like you said, it's slow. I do remember SNL did a skit on it. I think it might have been Kevin Costner on it. The SNL actor is like, oh my God, just tell it quicker. This feels like the Postman.
It's real fucking slow. But there's a few good actors in it that I always recognize, and I kind of like. I don't know, it has a good ending. I like Kevin Costner though, and not everybody does. Dances with Wolves is another one of my favorites. I grew up watching him. I think my grandma had a crush on Kevin Costner because we watched a lot of his movies.
I watched Dances with Wolves, and maybe you've had this experience where you like something like Dances with Wolves. In my head, check, good movie. Hey, you should see this. You would like it. It's a good movie. So I'm watching it with my friend's mom. Now, my friend's mom is an elementary school teacher that
Oh,
teaches
dear.
like little kids, and she was just really innocent. You would think she was a virgin in spite of my friend's existence, and she always called us her sweet dumplings and fed us, and that was the environment in his house. Okay, so we watched Dances with Wolves together, and we liked her. Like she was really nice to us. And Dances with Wolves is violence, and I'm pretty sure he fucks that Indian chick, right? The one who's actually white.
It would have been a romantic fucking, but yeah.
Yeah. So there's me and Mrs. Stepor watching this sex scene, and it was super awkward. I did not realize, like, dude, the same thing happened when we got, I think it was Rock Band. You don't know how dirty these songs are until your child is like singing about sticky sweet whatever.
Oh yeah.